Today, we're diving into an interesting concept. What does it truly mean to be a public figure? And how does it relate to serving others? A lot of people claim they want to serve the public, but there's more to it than just doing something good for others, right?
Absolutely. It's not just about helping others or even saying you're helping. There's a huge difference between volunteering and living for others. Serving others is a mindset that goes far beyond just giving a helping hand. If you're truly living for others, that's what makes you a public figure.
So being a public figure is different from being a volunteer who simply helps, like a politician or a leader of an organization?
Exactly. A politician might say they're working for the people, but that's only part of the equation. When you volunteer, you're not just helping people. You're learning, growing, and improving yourself. The true mindset is the devotion to serving, not just fulfilling a role for the sake of doing it.
So it's not about receiving praise or recognition for your work, right? That seems to be a trap many fall into.
Right. The moment you start focusing on the praise or recognition for helping, you're already missing the point. Living for others means you sacrifice without expecting anything in return. You're not supposed to focus on helping, but on how much you're learning from the experience and how you're growing as a person.
That makes sense. So a volunteer's mindset isn't about feeling superior for helping. It's about absorbing the experience, right?
Yes. The moment you think you're helping, you're putting yourself above the people you're serving. But when you're living for others, that's when you're truly able to help, because you don't expect anything in return. You're not helping, you're living for others, and that makes a huge difference.
Interesting. And you mentioned karma earlier. How does that tie into all this?
Well, when you live for others, you're actually cleansing your past karma. It's not about getting something back from them. It's about the selflessness in your actions. When you make that sacrifice, your past wrongs get lighter, and you become closer to spiritual peace, even approaching heaven itself.
So, by dedicating your life to others, you're not just improving the world around you, you're also improving your own spiritual journey?
Precisely. It's a two-way benefit. You're helping the world, but in doing so, you're also helping yourself. But if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, like seeking praise, you're actually blocking your own progress.
That's a powerful way to look at it. You mentioned earlier that being a public figure means never taking a salary. That's a bit of a surprise, isn't it?
It's true. If you're getting paid, you're just a worker. A true public figure or volunteer doesn't seek a salary. They only ask for the necessary expenses to carry out their service. They don't work for money. They work for the greater good.
So anyone who's paid for their service isn't really a public figure in the true sense. That's a pretty big distinction.
Exactly. If you're getting paid, you're essentially doing a job. A public figure, however, is someone who lives for the people, not as a transaction. That's why true leaders, those who sacrifice themselves for the good of others, don't think about the cost of their time in terms of money.
It sounds like the real question is, are you living for others or just working for others? If you're living for others, you're a public figure. But if you're working, then you're just another worker.
And that's the challenge for many leaders today. They think they're serving, but they're really just working a job. Politicians, for example, get paid, but they need to change their mindset and think of themselves as learning volunteers, not career workers.
So, if we look at politicians, leaders, or even CEOs, we should ask, are they truly public figures, or are they just employees of their respective positions?
Yes, it all comes down to mindset. If you're committed to learning and growing in the role, then you're living a public life. But if you're just there for the paycheck and the status, then you're simply fulfilling a role, not living a true public life.
This is eye-opening. It really makes you question the role of leaders in our society today.
Definitely. Leaders should be committed to learning from those they serve. That's how they equip themselves to lead and make meaningful change, rather than just maintain the status quo.
So in the end, if you're a public figure, you're constantly learning, constantly evolving. You're not just serving others, you're also serving yourself in a deeper way.
That's exactly it. And when you live for others, you don't just benefit them, you benefit yourself too. But only if you let go of the idea that you're helping. Just focus on the journey, the learning, and the sacrifice. That's when true service happens.
Wow, this gives me a lot to think about. I think it's a reminder for all of us to examine our own motivations in the roles we play in life.
Absolutely. The difference between being a worker and a public figure is huge. It's all about mindset, sacrifice, and learning. True public service comes from within.
Thanks for this enlightening conversation. It's definitely given me a new perspective on service and leadership.
My pleasure. Remember, it's not about what you do for others, it's about how you live for them.